This can be seen by Trump most commonly. For example, he uses the terms "so bad" often and "very, very sad" or "wrong" as his go-to for either correcting Hillary or emphasising a point. He also uses childlike inferences, such as "piggy bank," to ensure his language is as simple as possible to understand, which in my opinion is quite insulting and condescending. So next we have the micro approach, and here we can see in Trump and Clinton's converses the explicit hatred and defensive behaviour with one another, and this is concealed somewhat by their professionalism and being in the public eye. However, direct remarks were made, as you can see in the dialogue, to make each other appear the weak candidate. So Trump firstly does this by inadvertently being sexist and shaming Clinton on her husband's decisions, as if to propose that her husband cannot make appropriate decisions. Being a man, she has no chance. Meaning that if her husband cannot make appropriate decisions and he's a man, she has no chance, is what I mean. And this can be seen in the following quote, which is stated by Trump. "Your husband signed NAFTA, which was one of the worst things that ever happened to the manufacturing industry." Clinton, on the other hand, also tries to shame Donald for being a sexist, racist, and for enforcing war. She tries to emphasise Trump's stupidity. This can be seen in the following quote. "Donald believes that climate warming is a hoax perpetuated by the Chinese." Ultimately, she tries to shadow Trump as indifferent to the public and rather an elite that isn't one of us, so doesn't understand. His indifference is typically his wealth, and this is emphasised in the following quote by Hillary. "Donald was very fortunate in his life, and that's all to his benefit. He started his business with 14 million borrowed from his father, and he really believes that the more you help the wealthy, the better off we'll be, and that everything will work out from there." As seen in this example, she addresses him by his first name, as though he is a child and doesn't respect him enough to use his second name. So I think that's all now, all the approaches. And finally, to conclude, critical discourse analysis was effective in achieving the goal of underpinning hidden meanings and exposing ideologies within this dialogue. However, I feel that the approach doesn't consider pragmatics of non-verbal language, such as body language, and body language does account for 93% of communication as proposed by Waffel. So this is considerably something to take into account and to later examine in order to get a wider scope of underpinning hidden meanings and ideologies. And finally, that's my references. Thank you for listening.